This is Hit Publish, the first podcast dedicated to uncovering heroic businesses secretly navigating the ever-changing digital landscape. Each episode, we'll play host to leaders in their fields discussing their adoption of the latest digital trends and related technologies, addressing the total effects on the way we market businesses and brands across all of our industries. And occasionally, we'll pay homage to the technology giants who dictate our online lives and the platforms they provide, reminding ourselves of the self-inflicted and inevitable misuse of personal data. So if this all sounds good to you, skip the terms and conditions, ignore the privacy policy, and hit subscribe.
Sam!
Yes.
Remember that two-part episode we did about search engine optimization?
Yes, how could I forget? It was amazing.
Well, off the back of that, our very own resident SEO expert Chris has given up some of his time to help out some of our listeners with his top tips to help your website rank better within search and ultimately encourage more traffic, which equals more leads, which equals more sales, which equals cash in the bank.
All right.
If you head on over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris, need to be careful how I say that, where there will be a simple form for you to schedule a 30-minute discovery call with Chris where he'll audit your website and provide you with some simple top tips and easy to implement strategies to help your website rank better.
Yes, all jokes aside, Chris really knows what he's talking about, and to have 30 minutes of his time free of charge is a great win. So head over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris to schedule your free session now.
Is it a first come, first serve thing?
Yeah, I think we should do like first 5 or
10?
10.
First 10. First 10, head on over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris to schedule your 30-minute discovery call.
On this episode of Hit Publish.
So every day we benchmark about 200,000 businesses across the UK, and what we mean by that is we're looking at their social handles, we're looking at how the frequency of their posting, we're looking at the engagement that those posts get, and then we use people who are far more clever than me to build algorithms that allow us to actually work out where they may rank within their town or place or within their vertical, basically to see how good they are at social. AI is a word that's thrown around an awful lot by people.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
What does it really mean? Does someone actually know?
Yeah.
AI is only as good as the human who's actually putting the AI together.
True.
So yes, chatbots can be AI enhanced, but we've got a way to go on that front, I think. If positioned correctly, you could be talking in excess of 60% click-through rates, which if you align those stats to how email marketing works, you're looking if you're getting 20% open rate, like 5% clicks, you're kind of high-fiving. You can get pretty clever with Facebook pixels. So you can attribute your Facebook pixel to a user coming through the chatbot experience, and then you can add that person to a custom audience, and then through that custom audience, you can do retargeting campaigns. We use AI in the Maybe platform, but we use it for sentiment analysis, right? And one thing that it's really good at is taking large volumes of data and kind of sifting it and giving you an overview view on it. But I think, to say that AI is suddenly going to rule the world in the next 5 years is not going to happen.
Yeah, of course. On this episode, we sat down with Emerson Osmond, the co-founder of Maybe Tech, to talk all things chatbot related, and how they can help accelerate your business through 2020. Emerson's experience is vast, including positions in growth strategy, youth marketing, startup marketing, and even developing his own pre-Facebook social network for UCAS and an initial investor in the social chain agency.
Emo gave us a rundown of the best chatbot campaigns that he'd seen, including one that they'd run recently for the local Cheltenham Races. We also talked about the how and the what chatbot developers can see under the hood, and what to look out for in the future from the world of chatbot marketing, including some cool, interesting AI-led stuff from Google.
We covered our usual 5-minute news update. There are some takeaway top tips, and lastly, a reminder to kindly subscribe to Hit Publish, your digital marketing, online advertising, and technology-inspired podcast. All the show notes, links, and other episodes can be found online at hitpublish.digital.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode.
Sounds like a drug.
Episode of Hit Publish. Sam's back with us. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Sam's only got the coronavirus.
And swine flu and lurgies and everything in between.
Good. We missed you last time. It was a good one last time, but you're glad you're back.
Yes.
We're joined today by Emerson Osmond, or aka Ammo. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Are you well?
I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for joining us. Emerson is here to talk chatbots and all things chatbot related. But let's jump straight into some questions. For anyone that didn't listen to the last podcast, we had Polly, OBE, I believe, isn't she?
She is, yeah.
We had Polly in, and we were talking about Maybe Tech, which is where Emerson comes from. So, Emerson, can you tell us just briefly a little bit more about Maybe and your role there specifically?
Yeah, sure. So Maybe is a SaaS platform. It's a social engagement platform for basically monitoring and analysing all of your social media activity. I'm a co-founder of the platform and also the chief social officer, which is the grandiose title.
Chief Social Officer?
Chief Social
Never heard of
Officer.
that.
Basically means I'm the one that has to keep an eye on everything that's going on in the social space and keep the platform ahead of the curve on that front.
So you're in charge of the Twitter account. That's what I would say anyway.
Twitter, but yeah, okay. In fact, I'm probably the least social person you'll find. But yeah.
We actually, well, Sam more so, signed up just to have a little go on Maybe. And how long ago was that roughly, Sam?
2 months ago at least.
More than that, I'd say.
2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, more than that even.
Was it?
Yeah, how long have we been doing the
February
podcast?
now.
She was episode 2, I think.
So it might have been September time. October
Yeah,
time.
it's quite a while ago.
Probably.
Has much sort of evolved from there? When we were talking to Polly, she was talking more so about analytics that will be added to the platform and so on. So where are you at with that so far?
Bucket loads have changed since then, Sam.
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've added a whole new load of features. Probably our biggest release in the last couple of weeks is an entire report builder.
Okay.
Which basically puts the entire analytics within the platform, all the metrics that are in there, and any external metrics that you may have. So it could be footfall, for example, or external sales.
Right.
You can upload all that into the platform and see it all on one page alongside everything else.
Okay.
So that's a big new release that's just come out.
So really start to get that quantifiable. We're doing this on social, and it's resulting in
exactly
this
that
stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And they maybe you run the digital index, don't you, as well, sort of thing?
That's correct, yeah. So every day we benchmark about 200,000 businesses across the UK. And what we mean by that is we're looking at their social handles, we're looking at how the frequency of their posting, we're looking at the engagement that those posts get. And then we use people who are far more cleverer than me to build algorithms that allow us to actually work out where they may rank within their town or place or within their vertical, basically to see how good they are at social.
Is that something you do? How often does that happen?
We run that every 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's get into it. The primary topic being chatbots. I'm familiar with chat. We use one on our own website or our Kate Crumb's website. I know Chris. Is yours live yet? Or?
Yeah. We had one.
Yours is up and running, is it?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So I'm also aware that there's a substantial difference between chat assistants, which I'd argue is what we're using, and a chat bot. Can you explain what the differences are?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the kind of core difference between a chat bot can be a fully automated, autonomous, piece of software which is sitting and answering set paths and answers based on what the user's inputting. Whereas I guess a chat assistant is maybe where you use some live human help to actually jump in onto that conversation and do some chatting with the person.
Right.
Personally, I think they both work well in tandem together because you're obviously going to get to a point where a chatbot doesn't understand what the user's saying to you, and at that point, you don't want the chatbot to keep going back and saying, "I don't understand." You want to hand it off on to somebody who's a human, to be blunt, who can actually handle that question for you.
My understanding is that chatbots are more so AI related, and chat assistants is more so following a path of set questions. You ask the question.
I wouldn't go that far at this stage. Chatbots are very much linear. You follow this journey through, unless you are able to plug in some of the AI tech that exists out there. But AI is a word that's thrown around an awful lot by people.
Yeah, indeed.
What does it really mean? Does someone actually know?
Yeah.
AI is only as good as the human who's actually putting the AI together.
True.
So yes, chatbots can be AI enhanced, but we've got a way to go on that front, I think.
How long do you think till we can have a fully autonomous chatbot that I can go in and even use slang?
Have a meaningful conversation with.
Yeah, and have a friend.
Have a friend.
Is that what it's boiling down to, really? Sounds like?
I mean, there's some pretty smart stuff being done out there if you go and look for it. I mean, I think the guys at Google are bringing out some really clever chatbot stuff, which you can literally then just go and have a conversation with.
Yeah,
I mean, you've all seen the example of the chatbot example where the chatbot rings up a hairdresser.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to refer to. Yeah, and they have a human conversation, and the person. I think they've done it live on the what was their event called?
Google I/O or something
Google
like that.
I/O, yeah, they've done it live on the I think it was either that or a restaurant, and they called to make a reservation.
Right.
The person on the other end of the phone was talking to a bot,
right,
and and they didn't know the mannerisms in the way the tone of their voice came across in answering questions, etc., was so realistic that the guy on the other end of the phone just didn't know.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's not far away in terms of the capabilities, but the processing power that's needed to give that to everybody is so extreme.
Is that what these sort of not the ceiling? What's blocking it? Getting?
Yeah, pretty much at the moment. Yeah, it's all because chatbots behind the scenes. All that level of chatbot. I mean, there's a system out there called Dialog Flow, which you can go and use, which is a Google-based thing, which is free to go and play with, and that does an awful lot of small talk and intent. So you can teach your bot to basically have a joke with people and stuff like that.
Okay,
but it is still quite linear in what it does. To get to the extreme of where you're ringing up and going on peaceful conversations, coming back, it's doable, but it's probably a few years out yet.
Okay,
and probably only going to be headlining by the likes of Google or Apple or the mammoth titans.
So
like
Siri's still going to be really rubbish for a long time.
So chatbot marketing has changed the game in terms of open and engagement rates. Can you tell us some of those elements and where you've seen it excel?
Oh, yeah, Jeff. Chatbots. So my main experience is within Messenger, so Facebook's Messenger program.
What is that? Is that their own one or ManyChat or?
No, well, we're talking about Messenger as the actual delivery part.
Okay.
ManyChat is the platform that sits underneath and powers the conversations through Messenger.
Okay.
The open rates, you were seeing in the earlier days of, sounds crazy to say earlier days, we're only talking back as far as 2017 when I first got involved with this. Were upwards of 95%. For messages that are being sent. Mm-hmm. Click-throughs in the sense of how people think of click-throughs in terms of emails and stuff like that. So if you had a button inside your Chatbot flow which was taking people off to a website, if positioned correctly, you could be talking in excess of 60% click-through rates. Which, if you align those stats to how email marketing works, you're looking if you're getting 20% open rate, and 5% clicks, you're kind of high-fiving. So completely.
Is it still that, or did you say that was in the halcyon early days?
It's definitely on the decline, and Messenger and Facebook themselves kind of knew that was coming, and there's a whole lot of rule changes coming in to kind of preserve that environment. Because with all new toys that come out, you get the spammers straight away. You start flooding Messenger.
I would say that's likely to happen with any kind of new tech or any kind of new way of communicating. When email first came out and it was still new, everyone opened every single email.
Yeah, exactly.
Over time, people probably get used to it and think, I'm not going to click through as much. But
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's an element of messaging services are very private and people share their most intimate things there maybe potentially, and I think much like how Facebook have moved away from monetizing WhatsApp, do you feel there's perhaps a risk of sort of these platforms being overloaded with these kind of things, and a similar thing that's happened to email might happen to
I think Messenger and Facebook were very aware of that potential, but they're also very aware that they want to make money. And it's kind of followed the classic Facebook, rule book of let's get everybody hooked on the drug,
right?
And then we'll start changing the playing field to move the goalpost over the other way. And now, as in coming in March, actually, if you really want to start, hitting your audience on Messenger en masse, you're going to be looking at paying to do that.
Oh, really?
Whereas up until now, it's been basically a bit of a free for all to do it.
That's right. Yeah.
So it will kind of shake out the people who are using it for the wrong reasons, because they're going to have to actually pay to play moving forward.
Yeah.
As is everything on these platforms is turned that way, isn't it? How well received do you think chatbots are, and should sort of every service-driven business have one?
Oh, good question. Depends what you want to get out of it at the end of the day. I mean, chatbots are not the be-all and end-all. They're part of the marketing mix. They're part of that user touch point and user journey. They're great from a kind of innovation interaction point of view. You can get an awful lot of information out of a user really quickly in a really frictionless way. Because if you do it because as you said earlier about them being like quite personal, you can make that conversation really personal to the user. So they instantly feel at home and comfortable. They're on their phone doing it. The data that you're asking for is automatically populated in the conversation. So it's just literally a case of tapping buttons for them. They don't have to think about it. So you can get an awful lot from a user very quickly. And that's my best advice there. Get the data you need and then use more traditional channels to follow up and do your other marketing. Yeah. Because as I said, Facebook is changing the rules on that game altogether shortly. So it should be part of your mix, but I wouldn't say it's the be all and end all of everything.
And on that, the rules that the Facebook are changing a bit, is that does that come into play in terms of how soon after someone's engaged with you?
Yeah,
so
absolutely. The current rule as it stands right now, bear with me on this one.
It's going to change.
This is Facebook's rules, makes GDPR look kind of easy. Right. So right now there's a 24-hour plus one rule. Okay. What that basically means is I send you you engage with a Facebook post, which triggers a messenger bot, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That opens up a 24-hour window where I can send you, as the messenger person, whatever I want, promotional or otherwise. Okay?
Oh, really?
And then outside of that 24 hours, you have what's called the +1, which is when you can send one more message to that person outside of the 24 hours. Again, can be promotional or anything. Okay?
Right.
As of March the 4th, so next week, that's all changing. They are removing the +1, so you will only have 24 hours to basically reply with a promotional content.
When you say reply, these are instant messages between each other. So, I mean, that reply should be instant anyway.
It should be instant, but say for example, it was a query that came in which you then replied to. So then that person's sitting on your list. Today, you could then hold on to that list and next week send them a promotional message as that +1, right?
Okay.
As of next week, if you want us to follow up with a promotional message, you've got to do it inside that first 24 hours. Right. Or you've got to find another way for that user to re-engage with your bot themselves. So the onus is put back on the end user rather than on the bot.
Makes sense. Does that include then, like if we captured information from that user, if, for example, we captured their email address, does that mean that as well to email them, it needs to be done within that 24 hours?
No, not at all. It's only purely as far as messaging them via Messenger goes.
Okay.
So that's exactly what I was saying a bit earlier. Get as much information out of that user as you can in the first 24 hours. Get them to do as much as what you want them to do. Mm-hmm. Be that go and look at your website, go and follow you on Instagram or whatever, hand over an email address, give you as much data in that first initial flow when you've got them, because then you can use those other channels to go back and re-engage them.
Sure. Where are you seeing on that note, where are you seeing sort of more engagement? Chatbots that are integrated and sit on a website, or chatbots that are the likes of Facebook?
With the chatbots that I work with, obviously you can put the plugin on the website, but then that's reliant very heavily on traffic coming to your website, finding it, opening it, and engaging with it.
Sure.
The most effective ways I find to get audience through, particularly from Facebook itself, is to run comment-based Facebook posts where you're actually asking the user to comment, and they're actually really good for the algorithm anyway, because it's all about meaningful engagement, right?
Yeah.
And when someone comments, the chatbot can then be triggered to talk to that person. Mm-hmm. Or equally through the traditional kind of paid ads where it's a click to find out more, but that is actually triggering a messenger message.
Yeah. Have you seen Social Chain have recently, I think they built it themselves, didn't they? Where they instigate a conversation with someone, and if that someone then wants to check out, as in purchase this particular item, they're able to carry out the transaction directly within within the Facebook platform.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive stuff. I think that's probably the way forward it will go for all chatbots. Do you think that's sort of the future of online commerce?
Yeah, and on that note, you can do that today.
Okay.
You can. Disclosure. I was a first investor in Social Chain.
Okay.
So, and I'm aware of the platforms that they're using. They're a great agency. They're very good at doing things first. But essentially, what they're using is the ManyChat platform, and they're running comment-triggered Facebook posts, be that a live post or whatever, and they're using a keyword basically, which somebody puts in the comment, which is triggering the flow.
Right.
And that will then, when that flow goes to the user, it's asking them to confirm which product they were looking at. Again, so the person is confirming inside Messenger. And then with a simple Stripe integration, you can then add that purchase journey right the way through and have the checkout experience.
Wow. Okay.
Through
That's quite
Facebook,
cool.
through Messenger.
Through Messenger.
Directly within the platform.
Through the existing ManyChat platform, yeah.
Do you think people are ready for that? Like average Joe? Do you think average Joe is ready to actually?
I reckon a younger audience definitely is.
Younger
Because they'll know
audience,
no better,
certainly,
right?
yeah. Definitely younger audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the concept of purchasing through Messenger, I think, is still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
Whether my mum is going to be okay handing over her card details to Facebook
Yeah.
or what is perceived as Facebook, I suspect not.
No.
But I would.
I think there's a group who would be a bit skeptical.
Oh, yeah.
For example, I wouldn't necessarily want to do that.
Really?
Yeah, even because I work in this is sort of what we do. I've got like a fake email, fake number, fake everything. There's a fake version of me out there that I actually use for most of the stuff. Because I'm really.
I wasn't joking when I said I'm not very social earlier. I know too much.
Yeah, it's like I'm a bit like I'm becoming a recluse.
So, okay, fair enough. Before we all rush out then and integrate chatbots into our website and our social strategy, what sort of questions should we be asking ourselves?
I would be thinking very much about why and what do you want to do with the chatbot. Because obviously, you bring a user through, the user doesn't always recognize immediately that they are talking to a chatbot. So you've got to make sure that they've got somewhere to go and speak to it after, or during if they're not getting the answers they want. Think really carefully about what's the end goal you want to achieve. Because as I said earlier, chatbots now should be very much part of your wider marketing mix. So if it is all about getting an email address out of somebody really quickly, or getting them to go and follow you on Instagram or Facebook, then great, then make that your objective, and then move on from that. Otherwise, you could spend hours, and I mean hours, building the most amazing chatbot experience. But if you've got nobody coming through it, it's like, well, so what?
Yeah.
So what do you want to actually achieve out of it? If it's a very simple data capture exercise, which a lot of people I've worked with before just want to get their email lists back up following the GDPR, kind of wipe out of everything. Yeah. And that's just a really quick way, because you just whack up simple competitions on Facebook posts and say comment to enter. And then when they comment, you say, well, okay, for an extra entry, give us your email address. Yeah. And, email lists just go through the roof on that.
Hasn't Facebook got a rule about asking for comments and asking for data outright?
Yes, they have, but
there are rules. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Which is why I very specifically said comment to enter, as opposed to like my page, share with a mate, tag a friend. Yeah. You do any of that, Facebook is smart enough to know that's what you're doing and will downplay your organic reach. Yeah. B, you're breaking their terms of service, but okay, big deal. I mean, nobody's ever seemed to have fallen foul of that.
No one's ever gone to jail, yeah.
Exactly. But if you ask people to comment, but do it in a way where you're not saying comment below to enter.
Right. Asking a question, basically.
Asking a question, right? It's about conversations.
Answer,
Social's about two-way conversations at the end of the day. So if you're asking somebody, who should win this wonderful hamper and who would you share it with and why, you're going to get a really nice long answer from the person who will probably tag in the friend who they love to
and
share.
And two other friends. Yeah.
You don't need to be that blatant with it. You can be quite smart.
Yeah. The really sort of hardcore chatbots, the heavily AI orientated ones and the more feature rich ones typically require a developer level to properly set them up and properly integrate and so on. But as a small business, if I wanted to just try things out and get the ball rolling on a decent chatbot, do you know any good platforms out there that we can just a lot of them build themselves as no code, the sort of entry level ones build themselves with no code and that kind of thing. So do you have any top tips as far as what people could look at?
Well, there's a number of platforms that are out there. To name a few, there's Chatfuel. It's been around for a while.
I know about
There's
Chat
Mobile
Fuel.
Monkey, been around for a while, and then there's ManyChat. And ManyChat are the new kid to the block. When I say new kid, they probably 2017, 2016, they hit the market. They are my preferred choice because of the simplicity of use and the depth and breadth of features that you can do with that platform.
Okay.
It is, and it does do what it says on the tin. You don't need any coding experience. If you really want to get clever with it and start integrating APIs and stuff like that, you can.
Yeah.
So it's enough of a playground for the real geek end of the market, but it's also simple enough for the average Joe just to get in and get a simple chatbot up and running in about probably half an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
So without plugging ManyChat too much, because we're not sponsored by them.
No.
But they can sponsor us if they want to.
What kind of costs are we looking at to integrate something like that? Can we play for free to initially? And what features do we get?
Certainly with the ManyChat platform, again, there are other chatbot platforms available. You can play for free on that. You just won't get access to some of the pro features.
Sure.
So you won't be able to integrate your Google Sheets account. You won't be able to do some of the API stuff with it. But you can, and they limit you to the number of certain features that there are. But you can have that free up to about 500 users on your chatbot.
Okay.
So, and then you're talking for the pro features, prices start at like $10 a month.
Oh, really?
So it's
nothing, really, is it?
really, really crazily easy to get going on it.
Good stuff. Should we do some news?
Let's do some news.
Let's do some news. Who's doing the time? Sam.
I am.
5 minutes on the clock. Are we ready?
No, it worked when I did it, Sam. We got close to 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
come on, see how you get on.
So you're just saying that I'm just late.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. So Facebook has launched a new Creator Studio mobile app. In fact, I think that pretty much happened today. So you'll be able to manage and edit page posts, view performance analytics, and respond to messages with added capacity to manage multiple Facebook pages through the app. The app is an evolution of the mobile complement Creator Studio, the desktop hub. Have you used that, Sam?
I've played with it, but not heavily.
I think like if you're a hardcore creator, then you'd use other apps, but yeah, it's there for sort of people that aren't so up to speed. I've had a little play with the app myself, and I wouldn't call it a very creative app, to be honest with you. As you actually can't create posts within it, which was a bit of a downer. It's so new that it's only got one review so far, a 1-star review of someone complaining about that exact thing. So I think they've probably been a bit premature with the release of it, because fundamentally you want to be able to schedule and post stuff through a creator app. You can't do it yet. It's just an analytical tool. But yet they also have the Facebook Analytics app as well. So things to be done to make it better, etc. But it is out there. You can download it today to have a go. Moving on. Have you updated your LinkedIn profile yet, Chris?
No.
The Professional Social Network is rolling out a new element which will enable users to showcase key achievements and updates in a separate featured section right at the top of their LinkedIn profile. It's a great way to provide evidence of your skills and experience, particularly for job seekers. According to LinkedIn, Featured has been a highly requested update, and aside from enabling users to showcase key aspects of their professional capabilities, it will also enable freelancers and all small business owners to share more about the services they offer by highlighting their work directly on their profiles.
I'm just going to add, that's actually quite a good little update they've got, because when you go on and when you do a bit of LinkedIn stalking, sometimes it's quite hard to see exactly what such and such individual does, because of the way the app works, and even on desktop, like if you want to go and have like a quick snapshot, like on Twitter you've got bios, on Instagram you've got stories and highlights, on LinkedIn there isn't a way to go and quickly have a look and see what Emerson does or what Chris does and all the good stuff he's up to. I'm quite looking forward to that.
Okay. Moving on, there's a new book out. Woo. Going old school now. I'm sure you can probably download it as well.
What's a book?
Yeah. Facebook, The Inside Story by Stephen Levy. It sounds like an interesting one. Stephen Levy's mammoth new account of social network from its founding until the present day. Levy had access to Zuckerberg, Sheryl Sandberg, and many of their top lieutenants and other employees over the past 3.5 years to write this book. The broadly outlined Facebook story is well known, of course. Levy also provides the best account of the Cambridge Analytica fiasco. He's appropriately skeptical of the motives of everyone involved and lays out in great detail how Facebook sowed the seeds for that particular comeuppance. You can download it today, actually, from the Apple bookstore. I think it was about £10. I think it's worth a read. Last but not least, Tesla, always appearing in our news, more so recently because of, well, it wasn't recent, it was in 2018 that there was an accident that involved a Tesla, and unfortunately the person in that Tesla died. The National Transportation Safety Board said Tuesday that Tesla's autopilot driver assistance system was one of the probable causes of the fatal 2018 crash. In addition, the safety board said the driver was playing a mobile game while using the autopilot before the crash.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but as I've said here, and I won't just read it off, but there's an element of relying too heavily on technology, especially a technology that's in its infancy.
Especially whilst you're doing 70 or 80 miles an hour, if you're going to be playing a mobile. So
that's
playing
right.
a game is taking the mick.
That's right. But the conundrum is should technology giants like Tesla be releasing a feature that isn't 100%, or will it ever be 100% okay? It's such a moral dilemma. Who's to blame here? Tesla's pitching an autonomous vehicle, right?
Yes.
So you want to be able to get in that, press a button, and
but they've also said quite clearly.
Yeah, well, not quite clearly in the small print.
In the small print.
Yeah.
But okay, if you're buying a Tesla and if you haven't read enough to know that, yeah, you can do this, but it's going to mess up. And even in so I did a test drive, and even on a test drive, there was a bit where autopilot just turns off because it can handle certain situations. So if you had a Tesla, you've driven it longer than even I have, you'd know that it can't do everything yet. You'd be stupid to be sat there playing Call of Duty or whatever it is on your iPhone.
Yeah, of course.
Also, I think it's the most unnatural experience.
Yeah, it's really,
I've tried one as well.
Yeah.
And the guy said to me, just trust the technology.
And you're like, no.
Well,
you take your hands off the wheel and off the accelerator and you're still going.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is quite frightening.
I've got lane keep assist in my car, and on because I do long journeys to London. So on the M1, I would just leave it for a little bit because if it's mostly straight. But even then, my hand is near the wheel. I'm ready to grab it. I'm watching the road. I'm not playing. You're
playing Call of Duty,
or whatever.
I've seen videos flying around on social
playing
of
Sims
people
on your iPhone,
or people asleep.
I've seen one of those. Someone just laid back.
Yeah, the people are stupid. Yes, absolutely. But you're also buying into a product that isn't 100% there yet, and you're 100% relying on it. It's probably not good. No. Anyway, that's the news. Just in time. We've nailed it. All 5.
I'm going to add one little one.
Oh, go on.
Mike Bloomberg, who's applying, I don't have the word applying for president, running for president of America. He's currently running 50,000 ads on Facebook, and he's currently spent $54 million.
How can you measure 50,000 ads competing against each other? He must have crossover.
Probably.
Overlapping even.
I'm just surprised if he doesn't. They all seem, I've had a look at them on Facebook's ad library, and there's a lot of variation, lots of different messaging, he's obviously targeting lots of very different audiences.
Yeah.
I think he is some 60th richest person in the world. He's worth about 69 billion. So he's got money to spend to throw at it. But I think at this point, you can almost buy your way into anything. I was
going to say, do we know how much the next person is spending?
You could if you looked, because Facebook now has to. Or do they have to, or will they just?
They have to.
If it's political ads, you have to register to run them in the first place.
That's right, and you have to show
special ad category. I think it's called.
That's right, and you have to show who the audience is, what you're spending on it,
who's paying for it.
Yeah. So you could if you looked hard enough. But
I'm just going to see how
interesting to see if it will be as effective, because it's more known now, isn't it? Like in the early days, the Cambridge Analytica stuff, when people are doing stealthy little adverts about stuff, you kind of get entering your subconscious, and you weren't perhaps aware as much. But
I think it's more widely known amongst a certain population. I think the masses are pretty unaware.
For some context, between May 2018 and yesterday, Trump spent 32 million.
So versus that 50, did you say?
54 million in, it seems like a matter of weeks, because he only announced back in
So is he buying his way into office?
He basically, he is. And he actually paid the Democratic Party $800,000, somewhat underhandedly, to just get involved in the first place. So if you're rich enough, you can buy anything.
Do you know what his end goal is? I mean, once he's in,
would
it be worth the billions he spent?
Probably for him. He's feed his little cronies and give them some leverage here and there.
Ooh.
That's all it's about, isn't it?
All
Just
about legacy.
legacy and you're helping your mates out and helping yourself, your friends out.
Okay, that's the news.
I wonder what he does with those. Does he enter them into a chatbot? I don't know. That's working. You know, is Emerson
you involved?
flying?
I'll ask the guys at Mini Chat if he's got them.
Yeah.
So, Emo, you've done quite a few chat bot type conversations, etc. Have you got any sort of good examples of where it worked well, or some good?
Yeah,
case
I've got
studies?
some quite good examples of where it's really kind of directed people from the digital world into the physical world.
Okay,
which
yeah,
is,
yeah.
You know, obviously the ultimate aim of some of these things. So we do a lot of work with the Brewery Quarter over in Cheltenham,
Okay.
and every year they have every year there is the Cheltenham Festival, right?
Yes.
And that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, so it's quite topical right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we get an influx of racers, let's just say, who enjoy to go and watch the races and then head into town for a bit of a party afterwards. And the Brewery Quarter is just kind of off the main drag from that kind of zombie route into town that they all
That's
take.
right, yeah.
They'll come down the road and
That's
disappear into town somewhere.
Yeah.
And so the challenge was, how do we intercept those race goers before they make the decision of going into town? How do we pull them into the Brewery Quarter?
Yeah.
So one of the things we did in the lead up to the races was we pushed out a load of ads that were targeting people who were interested in racing, specifically Cheltenham festivals. We geo-targeted Ireland, funny enough, and various areas of north of England around certain race courses, just say.
Yeah.
And we used a chatbot off the back of that ad and basically said, look, you know, do you want to find out what the best things are going on in Cheltenham?
And was that a
time?
comment-based chat?
It was comment-based and click-based.
Okay.
And basically, we pushed that out there. So we actually...
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, I'm interested to know how that clicked. So someone's seen that ad.
And they would click to
clicked
find
on
more, find out more. Click
Okay,
here,
and that
would trigger a chatbot experience.
Okay, understood, yeah.
And then they're on the list, basically, to be spoken to at a later point. So this is pre the new changes that were coming in.
Yeah.
So we got about 1,000 people on the list, all of them from outside of Cheltenham. And we knew which day they were coming on the races as well, because we asked them as part of the chatbot experience, which day are you coming on? So when it came to the day of each race, we would send out a messenger broadcast. You could do that before the changes came into play. And one would go out in the morning saying, good morning, you know, are you set for your day at the races?
Yep.
Here's our top tip. The going is soft or heavy or whatever. And by the way, you can get a really good breakfast deal down at the Cozy Club or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd wait until about 3:30 in the afternoon, which is traditionally after the kind of the showcase race. And we send out another fun little broadcast, which is basically saying, are you celebrating or commiserating with the name of the winning horse? Some funny gifs of people celebrating and commiserating.
Yep.
And then on the back of that, by the way, don't forget, if you want 5 guys, here's the phone number to go and ring up to book yours. You can pre-book it to collect it. Don't forget the botanist has got this going on. Don't forget these bars got that going on. And we were hitting people who were at the race course on that day with their phones in their hand, because they were all betting on their phones anyway, and basically steering people off the zombie road into the Brewery Quarter to actually go and partake in those offers and what have you. And the footfall for the centre went up as a result of that. Time.
And you could measure that. How was you measuring that footfall?
Measuring footfall by footfall counters, So cameras effectively and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's one example. Another example is Urban Outfitters were opening at the Brewery Quarter. They wanted to have a queue outside. So the Brewery Quarter really wanted to get a big queue outside that. So we ran again another competition in the run-up to that shop opening, about... You could win a £50 spending spree at the Urban Outfitters. Be there on a day, basically. And everybody who was then in the queue were then asked to scan, and then you pick a winner out of that. And I think the queue went all the way back into the Brewery Quarter somewhere. It was about 800 people outside. So, it was crazy.
How much sort of time and what were you doing on the lead up to that?
You probably will, with the races stuff, you probably start doing it about 3 weeks in advance.
Okay.
Just so that you're making sure you're hitting people who definitely are thinking of that they're going to come to the races.
Yeah.
And the trick was making sure you ask them through the chatbot which day they're coming on. So therefore you're not wasting and you're not alienating people, because it's all about right message, right time, which I know is a cliche, but it's true.
So how has that, sorry, Chris, how has that strategy changed now broadcast has been stamped out?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do the high impact stuff of 3:30 in the afternoon, and the race has just gone down, which is a real pain. Facebook are still working through the details of how you can do a paid broadcast in a short space of time. Right now, as it stands, paid broadcasts, you have to set them up to run almost a week before you want them to drop, and then you have to kind of rely on Facebook to distribute them at that time. So in a way, it's a real pain at the moment, but I do think that's something they're going to work on, because they recognise the value of people wanting to get that message instantly to that audience. So,
are you working at all? Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I was going to say, when you were talking about the sort of the braces thing, it's sort of like you became a concierge of so if you stayed in a fancy hotel, you could go downstairs and ask the receptionist or the butler, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, your phone is going tick.
Yeah, you could ask someone downstairs, where's a good place to go to eat, where's a good place to go get a glass of wine, whenever. You essentially kind of replace that experience with the chatbot, which I find quite interesting in a bit. Yeah. If you think it's a little bit weird in a certain sort of way, because you used to be going and asking the locals or going and asking actual people, but instead you're getting that experience on your phone.
Yeah,
which is pretty nuts.
I guess we're just taking the approach there of some people are quite lazy, so just deliver it to them. Yeah, it was done in a really fun and interactive way as well. Yeah, so that's the thing with the chatbot stuff, which you can't necessarily do. With an email, you got one hit at it, haven't you? Yeah. Whereas with a chatbot, you can send them a message and they lead into another message. You have GIFs, videos, all sorts of cool stuff and interesting stuff. You do quizzes.
Yeah. Are you working at all with have you worked at all with beacon technology and chatbots time, right place kind of thing?
So with beacon stuff, I've done both. I prefer actually geolocated stuff rather than beacon. Okay. Beacon is great for, I suppose, inside a centre like this, right? So because GPS doesn't work so well once you're inside a building. Sure. So for big malls and things like that, beacon technology works really well. Yeah. Otherwise, I kind of like the geo targeting of throwing a kind of 200-metre radius around your business, and then anybody who walks into that pocket, if you like, gets a ping or gets a whatever. That to me is a really good and smart way, and you can use that in combination with push notifications. Yes. And that's definitely one for the future, push notifications, because they're outside of everybody's control.
Yeah, that's right. But they're only, if you've got the app installed, the app can send that push notification. Without the app,
when you say app, everybody's already got the technology they need on the phone already. So what they really need now, we're kind of straying off piece there a little bit, but you can have a wallet card, for example. So whenever you get a ticket to go to the cinema, it's usually a digital ticket which sits inside your mobile wallet. Yeah. Those wallet cards you can geolocate to a particular place, and you can push notify to them as well. Yeah, those for me actually are really interesting for the future in terms of driving people outside of because you say messenger messages, everyone's going to get them. Emails, people get hundreds of them, but a push notification is still quite unique.
It's just getting a bit more invasive.
Right. Yeah, but that's what you need, is it, to be able to do that geolocator thing. Yeah, you need
to have something. You need to get the wallet card onto the person's phone in the first place. Yeah, which means they don't need to download any apps or anything. They just add it on an Android phone. But anyway, enough about
them. With flights, it's a QR code, isn't it? And it sticks it into your wallet.
But I guess leading that back to Messenger is one of the best delivery mechanisms for getting that wallet card on the person's phone in the first place, is to send them a link in Messenger.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. How do you guys sort of know what's going on within a chatbot as far as user engagement is concerned and metrics, etc.?
Yeah, well, right now, unless you are the actual person who's kind of in charge of setting up the chatbot, so therefore you can see inside, how many people have gone through the flow, how many people have clicked the button, all that type of stuff. Anybody else in your business probably can't see it. Yeah. So with Maybe, that's why we developed a bespoke integration with the ManyChat platform, which allows you to connect the APIs to our ManyChat platform to Maybe, and you can integrate your chatbot into the platform, and then within the report builder, see every single metric that's being captured. Okay, so you can see how many people are signing up to your messenger bot in the first place as an audience growth. If you're collecting emails, you can see the number of emails you're collecting per day on graphs. If you're asking people survey questions, and that how old people are, or what do they think of this or that, that information can drop into the bot and then be pulled into the Maybe platform and displayed to you in a graphical format in real time.
Okay, cool.
Which has totally opened up that space. And I think we're probably one of the first platforms over here to integrate with ManyChat in that way, which is quite exciting.
New feature, sign up now. Actually, what is just quickly, I think we briefly spoke about this with Polly, but just as a brief recap, the Maybe platform, what are the costs involved there? I know you can start off free, and what are the feature jumps?
Yeah, so the platform comes with a 14-day free trial for only any user. It's basically, it's a social engagement platform, monitoring, analysis, as well as all the kind of cool chatbot feature stuff. You can also integrate your Facebook ads manager. So Mike Bloomberg could put all 50,000 ads into it. It'd be interesting to see how that would look. After that, the pricing starts at £30 a month, which is quid a day to access pretty high-end enterprise-level technology.
Indeed.
Nice one.
Do you think there's a place for chatbots as far as research and understanding your clients and place for improving conversion rates?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, one of the biggest things we do with chatbot stuff is ask people their opinion of stuff.
Right.
Ask people, what do they like?
Yeah.
What do they want to see? We work with a client up in the north of England who've just put a massive big screen up in their complex, like one of these big 20-meter plus LED screens.
Yeah.
And at Christmas, they wanted to run Christmas films and stuff like in the centre.
Oh, okay.
And they were trying to guess what films to put on.
Yeah.
We should Home Alone or whatever.
Just go with Elf. Surely just go with Elf, no?
Elf, exactly. Yeah. So we just said to them, well, why don't we've got this list of people who are on Messenger who are in the local area. Let's ask them. So we send out a quick Messenger message to say, tell us out of these films, which one do you want to watch the most?
Cool.
How much are you willing to pay to watch this? Experience.
Yeah.
What else do you want? Do you want popcorn? Do you want sweets? Do you want
Yeah.
what else do you want as part of it? And all of that's done through Messenger. All of that data is captured, put into the Maybe platform, and instantly they can see
Wow.
which film they should be showing, how much they should be charging, and whether or not they should be giving sweets or popcorn.
So market research done for you in a second.
In a second,
Yeah.
literally overnight.
That's really cool.
And the engagement rates of that, not maybe to the 95% that it once was, but you're still getting
it was
really strong.
pretty high. Yeah, it was pretty high. I mean, you're talking 1,000 responses overnight.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is incredible, really.
And what film did come out? Do you know?
The two that came out top were Polar Express
and
Elf.
Of course it was. Polar Express is cool as well, though. Yeah. As far as for someone just trying out a chatbot for the first time and perhaps even running an ad campaign to back that up, do you know any sort of top strategies, entry-level strategies that really work for a particular industry?
Chatbots for idiots.
Chatbots for idiots. I mean, the easiest thing to do with the chatbot experience is build a very quick, it's called a growth tool inside the platform.
Yeah.
There's various growth tools that you can use, but probably the most simplest one is the comment on Facebook, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So basically everybody knows how to put a post up on Facebook, right? So you can put your post, you schedule that post up ready, and you make sure that it's a post designed at getting a reaction in terms of a comment,
Right.
okay? And then you build your flow in the ManyChat platform, and it's linked to the growth tool comment
Okay.
trigger.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you ask them, to do whatever, give us an email address or whatever, because you want to get them on an email list. And you then attach that to the scheduled post, because you've got to attach the bot to the post before the post goes live, because anybody who comments on that post as soon as it goes live, if it's not attached, it ain't going to work, obviously. And that's it. That's probably literally your entryest level to actually suddenly see that you can get somebody from Facebook over there to your email list over here, all through without doing very little, basically.
Yeah. What about sort of from a retargeting perspective? How have you used chatbots in that manner before?
You can get pretty clever with Facebook pixels. So you can attribute your Facebook pixel to a user coming through the chatbot experience, and then you can add that person to a custom audience, and then through that custom audience, you can do retargeting campaigns.
And presumably that kind of campaign is the real gold, where conversion rate is high.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you basically you get to see the ROAS, if you like, going through the roof on that.
And whilst you can't message them again after 24 hours, sort of thing, you can obviously, once you've got their pixel in there, you can then retarget. Absolutely, yeah. So you can send a user as they come through a chatbot experience to any custom audience that you've built.
based on whatever it is that they were doing inside the bot at the time.
I should have added this in the news, but I've read that Google are working on within their ad platform a way to have an experience of a chatbot directly within their search results. So an ad appears as normal search ad, and you click on that ad, a little window would pop up, and away a messenger experience kicks in. It's kind of like the lead on, because I think we spoke about it previously with I think it was bookings, wasn't it? Something like that. You click on an ad for a booking window pops up, and it all happens within the search results. Well, Google are doing just the same now with a chatbot.
They're really trying to catch up to Facebook in terms of cool stuff that you can do within ads. I think they're really chasing their tail a bit, but
I think so.
It's good to see.
I think so.
Well, do you remember Google do have Dialog Flow? That's their platform.
Yeah, and it makes sense that they integrate something like that.
Is that similar? Is that a messenger type of thing?
It's more of an AI. It's an AI platform which allows you to do everything based on intent. So you build up your intent, so it learns basically, you know, rather than just being black and white answers, you can write like a statement to it, and it will go, oh, you're interested in that, and you can plug it back into messenger platforms to send the right messages.
Got you. Okay.
Pretty hardcore
stuff.
It's hardcore stuff.
Yeah. We're running out of time, but before we do, I have one more. As we've just touched on AI again, I've got a bit of a deep question for you. I think it's fair to say there's no denying the fact that the sentiment around chatbots and particularly artificial intelligence is pretty split, right? On one hand, we have the whole doomsday point of view, the Terminator style point of view, where we're going to all be killed off by these artificial intelligent machines, and then on the other hand, the quite optimistic point of view of it's going to deliver great things, especially for business and interaction and engagement and that kind of thing. But hand on heart, without a biased point of view on where do you sit on in that regard? Do you think it's a scary prospect, or are you all gunning for it and embracing the technology?
Okay, where do I sit on that? Well, without being, how biased can I be? We use AI in the Maybe platforms, but we use it for sentiment analysis, right? Mm-hmm. And one thing that it's really good at is taking large volumes of data and kind of sifting it and giving you an overview view on it. But I think, to say that AI is suddenly going to rule the world in the next 5 years is not going to happen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But is it good for business? Yeah, absolutely. Because it, in our use case, it allows our clients to get to stuff that might be either really negative stuff or really positive stuff really fast. And they don't have to go trolling through reams and reams of data for it. We point them in the right direction for it. But AI obviously is like all of this stuff it needs to learn. It's only as good as the data that's going into it, and as good as the human that's teaching it at the end of the day.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So for me, I think it's got a bright future. It's not supposed to be feared. Everything within sensible controls, I guess.
That's it. I think, as Polly says, just don't let it drive your cars. Yeah,
But
like I said, that sifting through data and using it for business intelligence. I guess it's like many years ago, businesses shied away from wanting to be on Facebook or Twitter because it's like, it's just going to lead to bad things. But actually engaging with your audience and learning from that is kind of good. I've just got one, I don't know if it's a final question, but one thing. We've talked about the changes that are coming in sort of now, probably by the time this goes out, just recently happened in terms of those changes. Is there anything else you can see on the horizon, or what's sort of next for the world of chatbots? So you went to a conference, is that right?
I went to the ManyChat conference in Austin, Texas last September.
What was that like? Was that
it was an interesting experience.
As an Englishman
an Englishman amongst the cult following of ManyChat. I mean, it's kind of crazy. They've almost got the Apple-esque following.
Lots of whooping and hollering.
A lot of whooping, a lot of
yeehaw.
Yeah.
A lot of yeehawing. A lot of Brits sitting around looking quite puzzled at each other. What's the future? The future is multi-channel chat marketing rather than messenger marketing. So I specifically took messenger out of that statement. It's chat marketing. Very soon you will see we've seen Facebook themselves have reported they're looking at amalgamating Instagram, Messenger, Facebook, WhatsApp, right? That will all be powered by the same messaging technology underneath. Mm-hmm. And all of that will become in time, not too long from now, open, so that you will literally be able to start a conversation in a bot in Messenger transfer it to WhatsApp, bring it back to Instagram, and just be seamless, the whole thing.
Right.
So do you understand it that they'll still sit as separate?
They're still sit
platforms?
as separate as platforms, as far as I understand. But the messaging technology that underpins it, it will be seamlessly. You'll be able to just jump between the two.
Okay.
And already the guys at ManyChat have already added, email capability, so you can send an email to somebody, and when that email link is clicked, it opens the messenger experience.
Nice.
Or if you send an SMS to somebody and they click on the button in the SMS, it opens the messenger experience.
Nice.
These are all ways that they're developing to get around the fun 24-hour rule, right? So for me, it's going to become chat marketing rather than.
And what about from the average Joe's perspective? Should I get used to seeing more and more companies trying to get me on their messengers, or get me on Messenger, or get me on Instagram DMs and all the rest of it?
I think so, yeah. I think from a chat perspective, I mean, it's, from a scalable point of view and from a cost point of view of automating as much interaction with you before you need to have a human experience. Is definitely in favor for them. So I do think you're going to see a lot more of it, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I think though probably there's a time and a place, right?
Yeah,
I think,
and a lot of it is actually quite useful.
I find myself these days actually going to the chat box on a lot of people's websites these days to solve problems, be it a problem with your Vodafone or whatever.
Yeah, you can get the answer a lot quicker.
You can carry on doing what you're doing whilst having the chat.
That's right. Yeah, it's a lot more effective. I think time and a place. I can't see. I don't know. Insurance companies adopting chatbots straight away. I don't think. I don't think it'd be top of their strategy list. No, really. Maybe whereas retail,
and do it, I think on the insurance point, I think for youngsters in particular, you may see that you get them pre-qualifying leads before they actually quote them, because they're used to talking in that environment, and they can get the answers out of them that they need, and then actually, they can ping them a quote.
On that, for basic stuff like changing your address or changing your car. Like for my insurance, I had to call up to do that. And that's really annoying because you've got to sit there and hold for 45 minutes.
And there's a poor person at the end of the phone that's waiting to take that detail.
And who hates their life and doesn't want me to even hear the sadness in their voice. But
Okay, well, great. Thanks, Emerson, for coming in. It's been a really good one. It's interesting. I think it's some good takeaways there for some small businesses as well to run away and perhaps jump on board with ManyChat, jump on board with Maybe Tech, and see what can be done on those platforms. How can we, if we want to talk more about Maybe, how can we find you?
You can find us on Facebook, on our Maybe page. You can follow us on Instagram. We are Maybe Tech, or you can head over to the main Maybe website, and you can hit us up there on our chatbot experience that we've got on the page.
And what's your personal mobile number, just so we can... Thanks for coming in, Emerson. It's been great.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you did, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And most importantly, leave us a comment or review on Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us to bring you new episodes regularly.
If you've got something to say around digital marketing and would like to feature on a future podcast, please do get in touch in any of the usual ways.
You've been listening to Hit Publish with myself, Sam.
Me, Ian.
And me, Chris.
Sam.
Yes.
Remember that 2-part episode we did about search engine optimization?
Yes, how could I forget? It was amazing.
Well, off the back of that, our very own resident SEO expert Chris has given up some of his time to help out some of our listeners with his top tips to help your website rank better within search and ultimately encourage more traffic, which equals more leads, which equals more sales, which equals cash in the bank.
All right.
If you head on over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris, need to be careful how I say that, where there will be a simple form for you to schedule a 30-minute discovery call with Chris, where he'll audit your website and provide you with some simple top tips and easy to implement strategies to help your website rank better.
Yes, all jokes aside, Chris really knows what he's talking about, and to have 30 minutes of his time free of charge is a great win. So head over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris to schedule your free session now.
Is it a first come, first serve thing?
Yeah, I think we should do like first 5 or
10?
10.
First 10. Head on over to hitpublish.digital/web ranker Chris to schedule your 30-minute discovery call.